So hello guys, this is Aish Kumar. So I'm just getting ready for my AFSB on 10th of October. So this is my home, you can see. So I'm here in my home. This is 8th of October today. So you can see I'm getting ready for my documents and everything else. I will show you. You can see this is my AFSB call up letter. So these are my all documents. You can easily go through these are some documents. This is a file I have made so that all the documents are kept in a proper place. And you can see this is my bag. I have just made up my bag and I'm getting ready for the AFSB. So I am going basically to Varanasi. So you all know Varanasi, the 4 AFSB Varanasi. So 10th is my reporting date and 5:30 I have to report to the particular AFSB center with my all my documents and my luggage, and let's see what happens. So I have reached Varanasi station. You can see the outside of the station, and I have took the dormitory. So you can see the passage through the dormitory here, and here are the rates given. You can pause and check your requirement. You can take screenshot. Moreover, this is the dormitory, how it looks like. It is type of a cabin surrounded small, so I would say it is good for a 12 hours 24 hours stay. You can see the bed, you can see how these are the things and how you can be seated here. Now I will show you the AFSB from outside. This is how it looks, and this is the passage. I was going towards the AFSB. After seeing the AFSB, I was returning, and this is how the route is. It is quite near. It is around 400 km. This is the officers' mess. This is for only officers, and moreover, these are some area you can see. And at the night time, I was enjoying the beauty of the station. You can see the station is made quite good, and you can see people are sleeping here, but never mind, you can see how beautiful. This is a scene of 4 FSB Varanasi's inside. This is these are the candidates who have just reported. So welcome back again, guys. So after completing my, I will go after watching the rest of the part of the video, the Varanasi experience of the basic dormitory and the places there. So now I'm going to tell you this what happened on the 5 days there. So starting on the first day, the reporting was around 6:30. Yes, 6:30 we were in, and basic documentation form filling was taken place. After that, we were provided with breakfast, and I can still remember the breakfast was sandwich and some cornflakes like of things. So never mind. After that, we were seated in a hall where we filled the candidates questionnaire. If you have filled earlier, no problem, but if you have not, the people and the candidates sat there. And yes, most importantly, the candidates were seated on the basis of their experience. Actually, that means that if you are freshers, you are seated in a particular place. If you are screened out, then you are seated on a particular place, and if you are repeater, then accordingly uh, you are seated on a particular place. After that, you are provided with your chest numbers. So chest numbers you are provided with. Now you are given the basic briefing how the stage one, or I would say the screening test is being conducted. So they will brief you with how the OIR needs to be filled and how they are to be attended. So after that, you are given two sets of OIR, 50 questions each, and I would say that the questions are quite easy if you have cleared the reasoning of basically FCAT. So you will be easily able to complete those very easily. So now talking about the OIR, after completing both the OIRs 50-50 questions, I would say the time is quite enough. I would say that I was left with few minutes. So you don't need to take pressure of time, but you need to just focus on the quality, I would say. Quality and quantity will come automatically. A few days of practice, I would say 2 or 3 days of practice of OIR is more than enough. After that, you are being told that now your picture perception and discussion test would be take place. After that, you are shown the picture in the same hall. The three were seated: refreshers, screen out, and repeaters. So we were on the same picture. I would tell you the picture. The PPT picture was that five persons was there. The gender was not very clear, and there was a wicket, and one person was holding a bat. So it was a very clear story. I would say the picture was far clearer, and you can easily build a story on a cricket match. So what the same I did, and I was able to complete the story in 4 minutes. After that, we were arranged according to our chess numbers. So 1 to 16 was made aligned, and after that 17 to, and similarly all of them. So I was in the first group. My chess number was 10 at the time of screening. So we were made to sit on a hall according to chess number wise. We were being briefed that how the procedure is going to take place, and actually the GTO officer who was conducting GTO was the instructor in the screening hall. So he instructed that after the last from chess number 1, everyone will get 1 minute each for narrating their story, and after that, you all know what happens. So after that, they will, till the last man ends. So you need to start the discussion. Yes. So now I will tell you the basic strategy of how to attempt the narration. So I would say that in PPTT, what picture you have written does not matter that much. Basically, you should not change the theme in the discussion time. You can basically maneuver the story a little bit in time of narration. So if you have not completed the story in your time, so you can do that easily, very easily. And they even don't see that much. I would say that they were seeing just the theme and what the person is speaking. So I would say the narration part of anyone, if you are fresher or repeater, is a golden, that 1 minute won't be taken by anyone. So that 1 minute, you can utilize it to your best of your abilities and perform accordingly. But I would say that we were freshers group, so discussion also took place. So after the last person ended, I would say no one started speaking. So I took the opportunity and started speaking with the basic points. Gentlemen, I think there were five characters, and all of them were male. And similarly, that cricket match is being so basic points which were visible to everyone, which cannot be cut or which cannot be argued by anyone. I made everyone agree to them, and after that, slowly the group started cooperating, and we ended up making up common story. And so hopefully the reporting was around 143, and screening persons were 53. And after that, we were sent to have our lunch. And after that, taking the lunch, we have our basic documentation had took place, and we were congratulated for clearing stage 1. And after that, we were allotted our rooms. So I would like to tell my room number. It was Chetak. So you will find the rooms in the name of aircraft: Chetak, Rafale, Mirage, and yes, these are some things. And we were divided in 8 groups, and 8 of us stayed in one room, and similarly the rest were staying. So this was how the stage 1 ended, and we were sent to our rooms around 4 o'clock. After that, at 6 or I would say 7, the screening, the stage 1 was ended has ended, and stage 2 started, the psychology test. So psychology test, you all know, TAT, VAT, SRT, and SD. It comprises of, and after that your PIQ form is also being filled on the same day. So it's quite a hectic day. I would suggest that you take proper rest after before coming to. The first day is quite very hectic. So after that, we went to the same hall where the screening took place, OIR test, and we were all seated. And similarly, we were briefed by the psychologist that how it is going to take place, STAT, VAT, and SRT. I won't go into the briefing. If you want brief history of brief discussion of psychology test, you can comment me that we need. And I would say that be true to your stories. That actually means that if you don't need to have a preconceived idea, I would say the first reaction what comes in your mind, you should go with that, because most of us are most of us comes from a very humble background, and our stories don't are not so long that we can't clear the psychology test. So I would suggest, if someone is writing a story, add more and more actions. I would say that, don't make your story a very bit very short, and I would say very obvious. I would add more action that will make a story better story. So these are some directions, and you can practice SRTs. There are multiple options, online, offline, so you can go with that. And VAT, I would suggest read newspapers. You can improve VAT from that. And SG, it is all about you. So don't write in your weakness that is very major, that you are lack confidence. So this SD is given to all of the three assessors, and they will make an idea before meeting you that you are this, and you lack confidence if you have written that. So they will perceive you before meeting that this person lacks confidence, and that actually uh, play against you. So don't try to write little things like you spend more time on TV and these kind of things. So the psychology test ended, and after that we had dinner. So many people were asking about fooding. I would say the fooding was quite good, and Varanasi stay, our rooms were also ACs and everything, so you won't find any problem. So the stay and food accommodation, these are quite good in Varanasi. I have not been to other boats, so I can't tell about that. So Varanasi, that was also good. So after that, the day two started. Day two we had our GDs, GP, and I would say PGT, HGT, and lecturate. Yes, these were the five activities which took place. I would say GD went went well. My GT topic was, I would say, can't recall. So it was something around social media, first GD, and second GD was around water conservation. I would say I'm not quite remembering the exact what was the GD. So it all went well. I would say that try to cooperate in a group in a GD, so that you end up to something that is being acceptable. I would say logical, moreover. So this was GD experience. So, and GP, I would say try to give logical ideas. I won't say that you can't go illogical, and try to convince group. If the group is not convincing, so if a group is going with a particular idea, then contribute in that aspect. Don't try to go and just rush and to show yourself. You become desperate, and the idea of GP is to come to a common conclusion, and you should not forget that. So this was how GP should be run, and PGT, HGT, I would say a quite simple tasks, and you don't need to. I would say what we did, our mistake, that we didn't act as a team. I would say we were fighting, and and ideas were coming very randomly, and this is how the our PGT, HGT went. And I would say that you should act in a group and be open to new ideas. If someone is giving a better idea, you should be open to that, because it's actually a teamwork, and the team needs to complete the task. It's not about your personal what you are giving, and if you are following someone other idea, it would hurt you back. So I would say that this was how we could have done better if we have. And my lecture, I'm talking about my lecture went well. My lecture topic was global warming, and other topics in the card was fossil fuels, e-vehicles, and my friends were reservation, black money, and Indochina. So these were some of the topics I could remember, they told me. And after that, the day two ended, and there are quite games facilities, and I would say playing options. So if you are going there, you should utilize all of that, and be humble, be good to self, and don't break any rules there, because these are also the things that are being counted. If you are rude to the people who are serving there, I won't say the officers, but the persons in charge of mess, and in charge of the persons who are looking after the room, these are the things which are being counted. So it is an overall procedure, because they also say there that each and every second a candidate is being monitored. So you should not think that only when you are attempting the obstacles or activities you are being monitored. Every second, the day you enter the FSB, you are being monitored somehow or the other. So talking about day three started with our command task. So I was the first person who was called. I was chest number 5 after the screening. So the GTO called me and asked basic questions. Where are you from? What about your educational background? Why do you join to us Air Force? These were the, and he told me to just call two subordinates, and how I called two subordinates. Similarly, I followed him. I briefed them with the instructions to the subordinates, and now it's time. What's time to attempt the command task? So I would say that the GTO sometimes try to confuse you with, if you are doing a correct idea, he will try to confuse you by saying that, okay, gentlemen, so this is another idea. Can this not work? And if you are confident enough that your idea is good, you should go with that, because he is always trying to confuse you, so that you move to someone idea and he makes a perception that that this person can be easily influenced to anything. So if you know that if you are doing correct, so you should follow that. And this is how command task went, and I would suggest that be confident and be bold to your subordinates, and try to give idea. The basic purpose is to cross from one side to other. If it is longer, then you have to just I would say that Bhatta and Malli, you have to just struck somewhere and then move on. If it is shorter, then you have to either struck some Bhatta or Balli in one obstacle, and odd, if there is no such option of strucking, then you should tie rope and make something out of it. So the basic purpose is to go from one place to other. So don't confuse. I have seen videos that people tell cantilever and this knot, that knot. So I won't say that. It would certainly confuse you, that if you are thinking so much, because you don't have that much of time that you are thinking that this can be done or that can be done, assuming there. So it is natural, so make yourself naturally adaptable to see these situations. So after that, our command task ended, and after that our individual obstacles started. So I would say that individual obstacle were quite higher in height, I would say, and it was looking that won't be able to complete those. So I would say that maybe some of you also would feel the same, but if you try to attempt them courageously, surely they would be quite was work quite easy than expected. So I would say that I have completed 6 to 7 obstacles in 3 minutes. I was out of time, and this is how individual obstacle ended. And after that, we were given some refreshments and cheese balls and lemonade. These were some things refreshment. Every day you get something or the other. In the evening, you get biscuits and coffee, sometimes chai. So even non-veg is being served. That first day they have asked that who would take non-veg and veg. So I would say that you will get something or the other every day. So this was after completing individual obstacle. Uh, it was our time for the final group task. So final group task, we were giving a cylindrical box, and there was something called bomb, and we had to take that structure from there. So this is so our whole group cooperated, and we did it very easily. And I would say that the GTO, from my point of view, I think went well. Above all of the things, psychology and GTO. And after that, my interview was on the very next day. Our whole group was chest number 1 to 8. Everyone's interview was on 4th day. So we all went accordingly. I asked them if someone just like chest number 1 went. So I asked them how they are asking, and these are all the things. I would say that they will try to confuse you and try to pressurize you, and that was the situation where I basically felt uncomfortable, and I had given up my mental stamina, and that acted against me. So I would say that the interview went the worst from my personal perspective, because even when I was speaking to ideas, he would try to argue with you and try to confuse you. And if you are getting confused, then I would say that will act against you. So it is all about you, and I would say the basic advantage, the basic strategy for preparing for interview should be to uh, to think of every possible question that can be formed through your PIQ. So I would say that you sit one day and 1 day or 2 day days and think every single word in your PIQ. You should try to think what are the possible questions that can be made out of it. Every possible question, whether it makes sense or does not make sense. So this is how the interviewer tries to put mental pressure on you, and if you are able to handle the pressure, you are through to the interview. So I was not able to handle that. So I would say the basic drawback or the basic lesson for me had always been that I could improve my interview part. So after that, the interview ended, and I was not quite happy because I knew that I could have done better. The interviewer shouted and even tried to, put pressure in various aspects, various ways. So I would say that many people ask that current affairs and all of that. If you have written in your PIQ that you read newspaper, then surely 5 to 10% questions would come from current affairs, but not more than that. No person in our group has encountered more than that current affairs question. Or even simple, if I am telling you about my current affairs question, it was around that recent cricket news, women's cricket and badminton news. So I told them about Thomas Cup, how India won the very first time. Then he told me about tell a person's name who was in that. Told them about Lakshya Sen. So he asked me about from which state he belonged. I didn't knew, so I refused that. I don't know. So you should not focus on current affairs. The basic structure of, or I would say the basic purpose for the interview is to know about yourself. So focus on your PIQs. So now coming to the last day or the conference day. So we were seated according to the chest number, and I would say a light type of thing was kept outside the room, and that when changed its color to green from red, we entered into a hall where I would say 25 officers, actually including those GTO psychologist and interviewing officer, which took our assessment on the 4 days, were all seated in a circular manner, and you were seated in a chair in front of them, and you would be asked basic questions. So I would say that I think my performance was quite borderline, because even the repeaters told me that your performance was quite borderline, because the person the I was seated 15 minutes before my conference started, because everyone was going in seconds and was coming out in seconds, 30-40 seconds, but I had to wait for 15 minutes. I think there had been quite a good discussion. I think I was a borderline candidate, and surely my interview went against me. So this is the analyzation that, or realization I did in my FSB, that no, I need to improve on my interview, and I was quite a borderline. So this is how you can also do if you are not able to clear in your first time. So you can go and see introspective performance, that what can be done and how can you improve. So, and share your experience like I am sharing. So this was all about AFSB, and my next SSB or AFSB is on 30th Jan, and it is also in Varanasi. So let's see what happens, and I would like to apologize for this late video. I know it is quite a long time, but I was busy in other stuff, preparing for other defense exams and these things. And if you want anything to ask me, you are free to do so. I will reply you as soon as possible. So till then, subscribe to this defense guy and support me in the upcoming SSBs, and surely I will support you in every aspect of giving knowledge. So thank you, and let's meet in the next video.